Tonight's episode of the Bill Simmons podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network is brought to you, as always, by ZipRecruiter. Having a high sports IQ is very important. Nobody has a higher sports IQ than Kyrie Irving. I mean, he just tells everybody what they're doing wrong. He's got the highest sports IQ of all of them. When it comes to hiring, you don't need a high hiring IQ. You just need ZipRecruiter. Their powerful technology scans thousands of resumes to find the right people with the right experience for your job. So effective. 80% of employers that post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. My listeners can try it for free. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/BS. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. We're also brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy Baseball. Spring training is here. Spring training is here, House.
I like spring training.
We don't know where Manny Machado will be playing. Oh, wait, we do. He's going to be in San Diego playing in front of like 22,000 people. We don't know where Bryce Harper will be playing yet. Maybe that'll happen this week. That shouldn't stop you from building a fantasy team around either of them. Yahoo Fantasy app, #1 mobile app in fantasy baseball, the official fantasy game of the MLB. Check out the Yahoo Pro Leagues, public leagues where you play for cash. Yahoo handles all the money, no commissioner. Buy in for as little as $20 or as much as $1,000. Build your team around Pantheon-level superstars or stash prospects for the next 10 seasons. Hey, give it a whirl. Download the Yahoo Fantasy app or sign up right now at yahoo.com/fantasy baseball. Let's talk about theringer.com for a second, the world's greatest website. All of our Oscars coverage is on the site right now. We also had The Big Picture, which went live. It was a post-game show right after the Oscars. Sean Fennessy and Amanda Dobbins breaking down Green Book's semi-surprising, but not that surprising win, as well as Glenn Close losing. We'll be talking about that in a second on this. And a whole bunch more that is also running on the Big Picture feed. And then we also had The Flat Circle. That's our True Detective show, which if you missed it live on YouTube last night, it is on the Recapables feed today. I also, if you listen to Channel 33, I went on the Tea Time podcast on Friday to talk about parenting with the Tea Time crew. I needed some advice, so they helped me out on that one. Check out all of our podcasts. Check out Winging It, JJ Redick, Ringer NBA show. All that stuff's heating up. One Shining Podcast, March Madness coming. Titus is in LA, and it's all going good. Joe House is here. He's in studio. Cousin Sal is going to be on the line for the first 25 minutes. And we're going to talk about the Oscars. We're going to talk about basketball. We're going to talk about subjects I don't want to talk about. All that's coming up. But first, our friends from Pearl Jam. All right, it is Sunday night here in Los Angeles, California. Joe House is in town, in the guest house right now.
I came in for the Oscars.
You did. You're not wearing a tuxedo.
I'd like to thank Katsuya.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to thank the lobster, the Dynamite Lobster.
2 months ago, we had Drunk House. Now we have I Ate Too Much Sushi House. Also on the line, briefly at the top of this podcast, the man who yet again, he did it one more time. He did the impossible. He looked at odds that seemed insurmountable, and he said, you know what? These are surmountable. I'm betting on this. The man who ruined Glenn Close's Oscar, Cousin Sal. How are you?
Close, but no cigar again. I can't believe I keep losing money. When am I going to learn my lesson with this nonsense? I lost with Get It. I lost when I won. I won with Moonlight, and I it still didn't teach me a lesson.
Wait, did you won with Moonlight that year?
I won. Sure. They called Moonlight as the winner. And I won, and I still lost money because they changed it. Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a loser.
Yeah. Well,
result.
This time around, you texted me. Anytime you text me a multi-Oscar parlay, I just fear for everyone's safety. What was the one this time? You were like, I'm working on this. It's got Roma, and it just seemed destined for disaster.
All right. I got it down to minus 160. So that's 160 to win 100. But you can imagine I did it for many hundreds. And I'll tell you why in a second. House will appreciate it. But I had, what did I have? Okay. So I had Alfonso Cuarón for best director. Right?
Nice. Good. Winner.
Okay. Good. I had Dustin Johnson when he was like 3 strokes up and minus 1,200.
Oh, yeah.
So that was nice.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say,
tip of the hat.
I didn't know if he was a cinematographer or something. I didn't realize you were the golfer, Dustin Johnson. Okay.
He had, what else did I have? I had Vice for best makeup, hair and makeup. I had Spider-Man for best animated. I had what am I missing? What was some of the big, and then the big ones?
Mahershala Ali. I said, did a Francesa for a second.
And Glenn freaking Close. Now, the thing I was worried about all night was the best director.
Yeah.
There was some screwy things happen. That opened at Cuarón was minus 5,000. And then the director of The Favorite, so something leaked out somewhere in Maryland or some college. Someone said their parents were on the committee, the Oscar committee, and that the director for The Favorite shot all the way up to like plus 200. The Alfonso Cuarón was minus 400. So I was like, all right, this is a screw job I haven't dealt with before. This is what's going to happen. But that actually did win, and Glenn Close lost.
Unbelievable. So there's a lot of drama today, House.
Yeah.
Yorgos somebody, the director of The Favorite, I can't pronounce his last name.
Mm-hmm.
He was plus 4,500 heading into this weekend.
Oh my.
And then on the online sites, the number started dropping, and it started dropping, and it started dropping, and it started free following. And then didn't people start to take it off the board? Sal?
So this was the first year you could legitimately bet this so FanDuel is tied to that Jersey casino that you could, the sports book that you could make bets in legitimately, and they took it off the board. Yeah, they and some others. Yeah.
So that's free falling. So Sal thinks he's going to lose the director bet,
right?
But he wins it. Now all that's left is Glenn Close, slam dunk. This is going to happen. She's ready. She's the Susan Lucci of the Oscars. She's lost like 5 or 6 times. This is going to be her moment. Standing ovation. Sal, tears running down his face. And then the lady from The Favorite wins. And she was more surprised than anybody. She did.
Yeah,
she actually fell backwards.
She didn't win all the precursor effing awards that almost guarantee you a win in these things. Oh, I give up. I can't. What did she do? Did you like her in The Favorite? She said, "I'm a queen and I'm going to disrobe and everyone's going to tend to my need." What was that? Who cares about that? Everyone on The Ringer who's pretentious said that they love that movie. Come on, give it up. What was that?
I count myself as one of the pretentious Ringer people. I really like that movie, but what's funny is I thought she was the 3rd best actress in it.
Who was second?
I like that Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz.
Oh, in that movie.
Yeah. I really honestly thought she was the 3rd best. I thought she was a little over the top, and I couldn't figure out who was potentially going to beat Glenn Close, which is why ultimately I stayed away. But I just don't think a lot of people saw The Wife. This was Fantasy's big case for it. Fantasy was saying all month. Yeah, like who saw The Wife?
Well, who saw the Favorite?
Yeah, when does that
spelled
matter?
with a U, by the way.
No one sees any of these movies.
Well, the
Favorite with the U. Oh, congratulations.
The one that really nobody saw was the Willem Dafoe one. I didn't even get a screener for that one.
Right, that one I didn't see.
Yeah, that one like happened in a vacuum somewhere. But more people saw The Favorite than The Wife. And then The Wife is good, but it really did feel like the career achievement Oscar. So it was fine. It was going her way. And then Sal bet on her, and
she won
lost
all
again.
the BAFTA and all the other crap, all the awards that matter. I don't understand what goes on here. Like why everything has to change. I am glad though that Cuarón won and it didn't change. Nothing leaked out. Like I do feel like there's a little bit of legitimacy to these freaking award shows, but maybe not.
Well, I won on Best Picture.
Yes.
How about that?
I was going to tweet about this today, and I decided to just save it for the podcast. I texted you yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
House, did I show you that text?
No.
I texted Sal yesterday and I said, I've decided Green Book is going to win the Oscar for 2 reasons. One is that old white people love this movie. They just really do. They just love this movie. And the Academy, last time I checked, still has a lot of old white people. Mm-hmm. And then there's a little anti-Netflix sentiment, like from especially the old school Hollywood. Like, who do you think you are, Netflix? You're just going to buy your way into the Oscars. So it was plus 350, which I just thought was too high. Mm-hmm. Roma had subtitles,
Well, it was lined up. It won the foreign. Yeah.
It won the foreign, but it's like old people, the old Academy members watching these scryburners with subtitles where you have to pay attention
Roma
for 2
had
hours.
Subtitles? No wonder I didn't understand what the hell was going on.
It just, and everybody over 60 just loved Green Book. And the moment that I decided I was going to bet on it was when Francesa was on his show. And he did that. First, it took him 10 minutes to pronounce Mahershala Ali. And then he did the whole Green Book. That's not only the best movie I've seen this year, but the last couple of years. It's the best movie the last couple of years for me. And I was like, Green Book's going to win the Oscar because there's 1,000 Mike Francesas in the Academy. And there it was, plus 350. So I actually won one, Sal.
That was good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You did it. I will say, were you a little nervous when the director of Roma won? Because a lot of times those go hand in hand.
No, it seemed like the Oscars was getting a little wonky. I actually felt pretty good for Green Book because Green Book won one earlier in the thing. And what's funny is Green Book's taken so much shit as kind of the crash for this decade that you could almost see Peter Farrelly's face, the director, like he was almost seemed not ashamed, but just like, I know I'm going to take shit tomorrow. I'm just going to try to enjoy this now and hold the award. And then tomorrow I'm going to get rigged through the coals.
Well, I'm glad you won. I'm glad someone won. But I will say, and this gives me a nice opportunity to do an impression of you. A few months ago, before all the other awards, Golden Globe.
Yeah, I deserve this.
We have to jump on A Star Is Born.
Yep.
It's plus 150 now. It's going to be minus 400.
Yeah, I did.
Then something happened. It didn't win anything. And it went to like 12-1 for Best Picture.
In my defense, I never actually put it in your Star Is Born.
That's true. That's true.
I
wish I had a defense. I suck at this.
There was about a 2-week stretch there where A Star Is Born could have won like 4 of the top 5. And I think what happened was they didn't lobby for it. You got to really suck up to these people.
Right.
Cooper was like their PR campaign for it last October, November. He didn't play the game.
Right.
Even like when they went in Vegas 2 weeks ago and he went on stage and sang with Gaga, like you got to do shit like that in December. You got to do that.
And he loves Vegas. He did a whole movie, 2 movies about Vegas.
Yeah.
2 movies? I don't know. At least 2.
Did you watch with your wife tonight?
She's out tonight, but I was checking in. I was playing with the kids and watching, but I think this is the first time in like 9 years I've been home for it. I went the last 2 years Jimmy hosted, and the last 7 before that we hosted after the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel Live. So.
Well, Jimmy's the last Oscars host ever because it actually worked with no host. We're never
going
to
really
have it
think
again.
So? I mean, I'm a fan of comedy. I missed the 100 jokes that were lacking.
But here's the problem: nobody can be funny anymore.
Yeah.
What kind of comedy are you going to do? You can't cross any lines, so you're just kind of doing one-liners. Like, what's game?
I guess
you're going to make fun of Lady Gaga.
It's going to be falsely reported that without a host, that's why it went so fast. But they cut 4 awards and 2 songs and stuff like that. That's what made it fast.
Did it go fast? It was like 3 hours, 20 minutes. Like House was 5 plates of sushi in. It was almost over.
Well, I got there halfway through. That was exactly the right dose. It should be exactly half of whatever it was. I got 5 plates of sushi. It was an hour and 20 minutes of a program. I'm holding up 2 winners. I mean, I have 2.
This is gonna. We should have put odds on calories and what day of the week House expires. He's out for a full week, right?
Yeah, he's out for a full week. It's going to be a problem. Yeah, the Oscars was 3 hours, 15 minutes. I think some award shows need hosts, and I thought Jimmy was my favorite version of whatever the modern host is, and I'm still not sure you need a host. It was just you have all these celebrities that can just go up, and if the host is like going to get in trouble because he's making fun of whatever, and that becomes a storyline after, I don't know what the upside is.
I mean, it's just impossible to figure who this show is for, right?
That's my point. It's like, if you're trying to have the best possible show, you need a host, but I'm not sure they want the best possible show. I think they just want it to move along, hand out some Oscars, have some performances, and you go home.
Listen, you guys could have talked me out of Glenn Close, but I only doubled up on that stupid Oscar parlay because I lost so much on the MFing Golden State Warriors who couldn't beat the Rockets without James Harden. Explain that quickly to me, why this keeps happening.
Nah, I don't know. Sal, have you thought about not gambling anymore?
Well, the great thing is now Harden's still going to win MVP. Like, shouldn't he shouldn't that be the league's policy? If you can go to Golden State and win without a player, that player cannot be named MVP.
Yeah, it should hurt his case a little bit. We blew it today with the Oscars. One of my favorite traditions every year is trying to figure out who's going to get the hammer in the in memoriam montage.
Yeah, they screw with it.
And I should have come on. You're against all odds this week, and we should have figured out. We should have had a whole list of everybody who died. And as they went through the montage, and they showed Burt Reynolds pretty early.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow. So I guess it's not going to be Burt Reynolds. This is going to be somebody big. Then they dropped the Neil Simon a little bit later. It's like, oh man, Neil Simon, man, they're really holding somebody awesome for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going and going. And at some point I start having real hope it's going to be William Goldman, my friend who won the 2 Oscars, the great screenwriter. I'm like, wow, this might be the time the writer gets it. Nope. He gets thrown up there.
He was inside the last 2 minutes.
He made it to the last minute. It was really exciting. I was really rooting for it. Like it was like game
Penny
7.
Marshall got like 3 clips.
Yeah,
so
Penny she was in there.
It could end with her too for a second.
Bertolucci was in there, and they're just running through names. And at some point, I'm like, wow, somebody major must have died. And then it was the last one. It was Albert Finney.
Yeah,
didn't see that one coming. I would have had him like plus 400. So
I don't think because of conversations like this, I think people end up feeling bad about who's the best. It goes along with save your applause to the end. We don't want to make this a competition kind of thing. So
yeah, but it's got to be Burt Reynolds, right?
Yeah, they're announcing winners all night. Might as well announce the dead winner of the night, right?
Well, Sal, speaking of save your applause to the end and the dead winner, have you had a chance to talk to Simmons about Robert Kraft yet?
Oh no.
Oh
no. I thought we were going to save that for later.
I think we could do it now, in the middle, and at the end. I think there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end to these things, Bill.
This could have been, House, a great moment where we could have made fun of Simmons because he went and saw a prostitute, if it was just a prostitute. But now this becomes a much bigger story because we don't know the background of this.
Yeah.
And now it becomes ugly again, so we can't make fun of it.
I know.
So Simmons is off the hook again, I feel.
Yeah, there's a whole sex trafficking thing that's really, really ugly.
It's a bad story.
This is a man who seems like he's been going off the rails a little bit for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
And just the behavior has been really erratic. And you read a story like this, it's not like it's shocking. It was like, oh my God, Bob Kraft. What? Like, this is somebody who's been out all the time. He has girlfriends who are like 40, 45 years younger than him. I think his wife's death, if I can defend Mr. Kraft, who brought me 6 Super Bowls for 1 second, I do think his wife's death really screwed him up. And I don't think he has been the same since from a behavior standpoint.
Well,
so there you go.
If we're defending him, the only observation
it's a weak defense, but I just think he's acting like somebody who lost his wife and has never been the same and has just acted really erratically ever since. I think he's going to have to step down though.
Really?
I don't think he sells the team, but I think it's the right time to pass the team to his son, which I think is something that probably should have been happening anyway.
Well, let's make sure his son's not on the list.
That's right.
I called my dad like 2 days ago at 1:00 Pacific time, and he was sound asleep on the couch watching something. And he's like 7 years younger than Bob Kraft. It's at some point it's time. It's time to maybe the day-to-day operations. I'll tell you when I thought that maybe he was losing his fastball a little bit with the whole Deflategate thing, when he just like folded and we lost our number 1 pick. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened. Like the old Kraft would have wheeler and dealered it and fought it, and he just kind of rolled over on it. And that was when I was like, man, what's going on?
But you're basing this on bad decisions outside of football. You can't, if this didn't happen with the massage parlor, you wouldn't say, all right, this guy's out of his mind. You just won a Super Bowl.
I did a podcast on Wednesday when Mallory and Clark and I talked about him for a minute, how it looked like he was going, I think I used the words, he's been going off the rails. Like he was at NBA All-Star Weekend wearing a huge diamond pendant that said champions on it and dressed like he was like 40 years old. The guy's almost 80.
Hey, he's celebrating. He was celebrating.
Yeah. I mean, don't you need a 3-13 year before you have to kick him out? I mean, if this hadn't happened, I don't know.
Well, now I think it's time for him to maybe hand the reins over to
somebody
his
else,
very capable son.
Somebody else needs to step in and do their job.
That's right.
The whole thing with the investigation and all of this, and they teased that there was going to be more names, and then Sal, there were odds all of a sudden on names.
There are?
There
Where?
were.
Yeah, well, I started looking at who had houses there within like 3 miles. There's a lot of your golfers there.
I know.
You should be worried.
It's a big golf community. There was one name.
I've
I've asked numerous sources about one prominent name, and everybody swears and declares that this gentleman is not on the list. So fingers crossed.
Well, are you saying Tiger? Because he does own a house around.
Yeah, he's one of the famous Jupiter wrestlers.
He is in the neighborhood.
I think that
Johnny Bench, Olivia Newton-John, also on the list, and it goes on and on.
Olivia Newton-John.
You never know.
I think the crazy thing with Kraft is that he's in a limo getting dropped off at like a $59 rub and tug place. Like, what is going on? It's just really bizarre behavior.
Why? You need to ride. How else would you expect him to get there?
You're out of breath.
You want him to ride a bike?
He's a multi-billionaire.
Right. How else would you like him to get to where he needs to get to?
In a helicopter to land on, shoot him in through the top.
It's not great. So we've had this. We've had some things happen, but we also have won 6 Super Bowls, and I think most people would take the 6 Super Bowls.
Well, let's just say, I mean, it's a dynasty with a happy ending. Let's be honest.
Come on. Why do people enjoy this so much with the Pats? People really hate the Pats more than anything.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah. I think people hate Glenn Close more than the Pats, but
just the Academy. It's just the Academy that hates Glenn Close.
Okay.
Well, to go back to my point about how Kraft's kind of off the rails, like the New York Post said he was at the Oscar parties all weekend. He was out and about.
Again, what else would you like him to do? He categorically denies violating the law.
But maybe keep a low profile for a week?
He's 78. What's he gonna, how long? A week?
Stay home.
A week could
You've
be.
You've got like kids and grandkids. What are you doing?
I mean,
I think he knows he has carte blanche. I think he knows his buddy Trump will declare a national emergency and pardon him if push comes to shove.
He's got the pardon on lock.
Yeah.
Trump pardoning Kraft would not be a great moment.
American as it gets.
Would not be a great moment for the Patriots dynasty. Wouldn't be awesome.
Not a happy ending.
Not Sal, what are we going to bet on now? What do we have?
We have 2 more weeks before this the conference tournament start in the NCAA, so that's going to be fun. There's golf coming up, right?
A lot of great golf coming up. Absolutely. We got
DJ look great.
The Florida Swing is underway in 2 weeks, and the Players Championship is 3 weeks away.
There you go.
So we're
there already.
How much tennis have you bet in the last 2 weeks?
Not a lot of tennis, a lot of UFC. I bet soccer. I had Bournemouth. I was pronouncing it incorrectly, apparently, on Lock It In, but yeah, there's a lot.
Have you been in on this Blackhawks over thing, by the way, cuz?
Isn't it like 18-1 or something? The first period, Blackhawks game's over. It's gone 18-1. Crazy.
Can I give you a couple Tiger Woods bets?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tiger Woods will win no majors in 2019, minus 350.
Mm-hmm.
Tiger Woods will win exactly 1 major, plus 300.
Mm.
You like that one, House? Yeah, you kind of like that one a tiny bit.
I want to bet what I want to root for. Those odds are brutal. 3-1.
But House, think about in terms of value. How many golfers are as good as Tiger Woods right now? Like 20?
25.
Yeah.
Yes.
25.
Yes.
Those guys, all their odds are way worse than minus 300 to win a
Exactly.
So it's like a dummy Tiger tax.
It's
basically.
a dummy. Yes, that's exactly right. It's the Tiger tax.
If you had to pull a name to win the 2019 Masters out of thin air, what name would it be?
Oof. I hadn't started my research yet. Damn it. Justin Thomas.
All right, he's plus 1,200.
He does look angry when he screws up. Like even today, he was good.
9 under he went today.
Yeah.
My man John Rahm is 16-1.
Nope, not Rahm. I'm a not Rahmer.
Fleetwood 35-1.
That's interesting.
I like your guy Fleetwood.
That's
I've been
interesting.
the last couple times though. He's let me down.
And Finau's 33-1 too. No,
we need
little revenge for breaking his leg or dislocating his ankle.
He's
last
still
time?
finished in the top 10 last year after that busted ankle.
How about Xander? House.
Xander.
He can get hot. So he's
28-1.
Let's keep an eye on him. Let's keep an eye on that 28-1. If he gets above 30, I'm sure that he's above 30 in some other books. Xander's interesting.
What about the FedEx Cup, House? Any thoughts?
It's a little early yet.
Still early?
Still, yeah. There's a lot of golf yet to be played. It's a jam-packed schedule. They get all the majors in by July.
The Ryder Cup odds are already up in 2020. It's USA is minus 140 in Wisconsin. We'll blow that.
We should bet that now. No, we're going to win.
We're going to win the Ryder Cup?
Yes,
Said who?
Lock. It's a lock. We win in the U.S. We may never win again in Europe, but it's a lock that we win here in Wisconsin. Steve Stricker, the Ryder Cup captain, he won't stand for it.
Sal, I do have one baseball bet I wanted to throw at you to think about.
But real quick, before we do a thing on Sharp Tank. When my buddies, the Degenerate Trifecta, come on and they give picks at the end, and it's pretty lean. These, it's usually an MMA, but Harry, my friend Harry had what did he have? What's Laird's first name?
Martin Laird.
Martin Laird to be in the top 20. Guy finished dead last. I'm like, all right, I think we might be done with all this Sharp Tank talk.
Martin Laird has a nice track record at Riviera. It's not Harry's fault. I back him up.
Harry tries on your podcast. Not so much on mine. Unbelievable.
What do you think?
We both gave out Martin Laird on that podcast, so I'm not sure that's a good thing.
You think Harry gives his A game on House's podcast?
I think he does. He gets lazy.
Fairway roll. Lord have mercy.
I like. I'm ready. The Cy Young odds aren't out yet, but I'm ready. I read a piece about Trevor Bauer on SI that was about just what a polarizing guy he is, and the piece made me think that he's going to have his best season this year.
Ooh.
He could be. How many wins did he have last year?
He got hurt. He missed 6 weeks of the season, but still had a borderline Cy Young case.
What are the odds?
But he's
what are the odds?
He's 25-1 for most pitching wins this year.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I like that.
I'm proud of House. House put in about 30 bets with me for over-unders. I don't even know if there are this many teams, but House he might have doubled up on some teams, but he really did.
I'd put in at least 20 win total, Major League Baseball win total.
There's some concern in the smart Red Sox fans about the Red Sox in general.
Oh, really?
The PECOTA, that advanced metrics
predictive
thing?
Wins.
Mm-hmm.
It has the Red Sox for 89 wins, but their over under in Vegas is 94.5 or 95.
Correct.
Depending
94.5. Damn it.
And they have no closer, and they're kind of in a staring contest with Craig Kimbrell. But and then it's the classic the year after the World Series, and who the hell knows? But yeah,
I can't believe the free agents are out there. Kimbrell's still he might pull a Le'Veon Bell this year, and obviously Harper's still not signed. It's very strange. Machado just signed last week.
Yeah, the Harper one, I just thought for sure somebody at some point was just going to pounce on it for 30-1, right?
It still feels like
10 million a year or 300 for 10, whatever.
Still feels like the White Sox might step in. Don't they have to do something?
Really?
To get people to show up.
Does Bryce Harper get you to show up? Did he get you to show up in DC the last 4 years?
You know what? I will say the answer to that is yes.
Really?
Here's the interesting thing about Bryce Harper. His stature, his brand far exceeds and outpaces his actual on-field performance. The interesting thing about him is if you put him, who are the 5 biggest stars in baseball? Him, Mike Trout, Clayton Kershaw. Those 5 guys go into a bar. Who do people recognize?
Yeah, Bryce Harper.
Oh, I've heard this joke. Okay,
yeah.
hold on. I forget how it ends. I don't think.
And the Irish guy had the small dick.
Oh man, that sushi's really kicking in with House.
It's $200 worth.
Yeah, I don't know. Supposedly his defense slipped a little the last 2 years, and then you're just getting him for 4 at bats, and there's no sign that he could be the anchor of a championship team.
He's going to be a Philly, and that's bad news for me and House.
That hurts.
Get him out of the division.
So the Mets just sat all of this out.
Yeah, it's all right. We're we have the best relief pitching in the game, except when it's not going to matter. We get blown out the first 6 innings.
It's weird because I just assume Machado, the Padres thing is still.
Has any player ever gone to the Padres and his career thrived? Gone there? Like Dave Winfield started there, all these other guys. But
they're 2 hours away, and you and I have known each other for 16 years. We both like going to baseball games and eating at baseball games, and we have never gone to Petco Park.
Yeah.
Really weird.
You know what? The only time I was there, I hate that I was there when the Yankees won Game 4 and swept them.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what I was doing there. I had nothing to do that day. 96.
Last question: did our agent James Baby Doll Dixon? Did he love Green Book?
I don't know. I don't know that he saw it. Why?
No, I don't know. Did you get any Oscar picks from him?
No, I didn't. I should have asked him.
Did he wish anybody luck after?
Actually, there was a scene where the guy, Viggo Mortensen was littering, right? And he got yelled at for that.
Oh yeah, that was Baby's favorite scene.
Yeah, that had to be his favorite scene of the whole year.
Should we text him about Baby? They're saying the Oscars don't need a host anymore. Jimmy's unprotected yet again.
He really did it. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's that. Fuck that. Fuck that. That's not his fault. Fuck that. Fuck those people.
They'll be begging us next week. You watch.
All right. So we can watch you unlock it in this week, licking your Glenn Close wounds.
Yes.
And then against all odds.
4:30 to 5:30. Yeah, against all odds. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk college basketball and AAF. I'll tell you, this AAF isn't that bad. You might want to bet it.
Nothing Well, actually, you're the same guy who had a 5 Oscar parlay, so maybe this is the wrong.
It's not terrible. This Orlando team on the money line. That's the way to go.
This really is a flashing sign that you might have a gambling problem if you're watching the AAF.
Yeah, it could be official.
Wasn't Christian Hackenberg like starting games?
He was.
Not anymore though, right?
No, they took him out. He who's the other
Couldn't
one?
hack it.
Couldn't hack it. Yeah.
No, he couldn't hack it. Who's the Jet guy? Why can't I remember him?
Geno Smith?
No, the Penn State guy that they just.
I don't know.
What am I thinking?
Wow, this is a ringing endorsement of the AAF.
Yeah, really bad.
All right, South.
Metzenberg, right? There's a Hackenberg. There were a lot of Bergs.
They're all at Penn State.
This should be the AAF.
Hackenberg's Penn State.
Should be the commercial for the AAF.
Glenn Close.
Sal, thanks for coming on.
Good job,
Good
you
job,
guys.
Love you guys.
Hey, let's take a break. Talk about SeatGeek. The way to go. As I've told you forever, for years, they pull millions of tickets in one place so you can easily find the seats you want for a price you're willing to pay. Get you closer to the action for a great value. They make your ticket buying experience easier than ever. They search multiple ticket sites, grade every ticket based on value. They help you immediately identify the best seats that fit your budget. Every purchase fully guaranteed. Shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. I have the app on my phone. I love it. I love the color coding. I'm weird. I love going to the SeatGeek app and just looking to see, like, say, I wonder what's going on at the Lakers game tonight. I wonder if people are actually like snapping up these tickets for the Raptors Lakers. Pretty interesting, the color coding and just what it looks like in different cities, and very valuable as well. I have bought tickets. I'm a big fan of going on SeatGeek. Dodger games last second, getting 2 extra LAFC tickets if I'm going with my daughter and I want to bring 2 more people. Be like me. My listeners get $10 off their first SeatGeek purchase. All I have to do is download the SeatGeek app, enter promo code BS today. $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Promo code BS. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets. All right, so we have a couple things we want to talk about. House is here all week in LA. We're doing something really fun. We're breaking out a golf retirement tomorroot tomorrow. Well, you aren't, but I am.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I see you with a golf club in your hands, hitting balls. Let's not tease it that far. That's as far as we're going to
give it away. But there's going to be some golf. What was your take on everything that happened the last couple of weeks with the NBA, with the player movement and the comments and everybody talking about player empowerment, and some people arguing that it's gone too far and other people saying this is great. We've talked about this on the podcast before, but now some other things have happened. Where are you standing right now?
I think big picture wise, again, I've talked about it a couple times as we've sort of thought about this NBA season. It's such this unique calendar season is so effing long. It started in like the second week of October, and the All-Star break didn't come soon enough. Yeah. I think guys like are legitimately fatigued. The players are fatigued. And so I think that the explanation for Kevin Durant losing his patience and it was a perfectly innocent question. Yeah. He was surrounded by all friendly reporters and he just lost his shit for really no discernible reason. I think it's because they were so tired. They're just physically tired because of the length of the season. So I think to me, that's like the context that we're operating at. And then this attempted power play with Anthony Davis and Clutch Sports and what LeBron clearly had in mind in terms of a design for the Laker team that he hoped to sort of ride into the playoffs. And now this is the interesting thing, again, with this schedule thing. It really is a sprint. From the All-Star break to the start of the playoffs, it's less than 30 games. And so if the Lakers had pulled off the Anthony Davis coup that they attempted, they'd be in great shape to go ahead and make the playoffs and really be rounding into form for a terrific playoff run. God bless the New Orleans Pelicans. God bless Dell Demps. I never would have thought I'd say that out loud. Well, you know what? He earned all of his money working for that franchise, which by sort of design has a dysfunction on it because it's really a football franchise that happens to have a basketball team as as an amusement, as an amuse-bouche.
A side gig.
It's a side plate, to put it in food terms. But like so with in a big picture sense, I don't mind players having an opinion about where they want to go. I don't like the way that Anthony Davis and his representation attempted to maneuver this Laker situation.
The grenade. Well, now they just stole Draymond this weekend. Although everybody knew that was happening for the last year.
What's that mean? They stole Draymond?
Clutch took Draymond Green this weekend.
Oh, he signed to Clutch. So Clutch is his representation.
Signed to Clutch. He's a pre-agent. He's not a free agent.
Well, I think that's going to work out. You're the body language doctor. You've been watching this Golden State team. Do you think that they're going to miss Draymond when he bids adieu?
You know, I was watching a couple pre-Durant Golden State games, and
recently, just for funsies. Yeah,
and if they can somehow pull this third title, I think there's a world, if you're a Golden State person, where you're like, we won 3. Actually, we won 4 because you also won in 2015. We had the 73 win thing, team of the decade, one of the best teams ever. And now let's just ride this Steph and Klay thing. And this is the greatest backcourt of all time, potentially. And we'll just figure out what pieces to put around them, and that'll be our team. And we're good. And if Draymond wants to leave, the question for me with Draymond is, how's he going to age as a player? You know,
we're watching it. It's not doesn't look great.
His stats just from 3 years ago. Now you could say he had an aberration with his 3-point shooting, but I just worry like the wear and tear of being the undersized center all the time, lineup of death, all the playoff games that he's played. The fact that he's never going to be like a dominant offensive player, but the guy I was thinking, and they're not really alike at all, but they're a little alike just for kind of the effect they had. But like, remember when Ben Wallace, when he had that run on he was on the Boulay for a little bit, and then the Magic, and then he went to the Pistons, but he had like that 5-year run where he was just, awesome. And then he signed the big contract, but then it just like he faded a little. But because his game wasn't that complex, the fading of a little was actually a lot, and he just wasn't an impact guy anymore. And I just wonder, like Draymond at 6'7", what is his game in 2 to 3 to 4 years, especially if you're paying him $25 million a year for a guy who's averaging like 9 points a game, 10 points a game, whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of look the other way. My question is, do they want Durant to come back?
Interesting. Why wouldn't they want Durant to come back?
I think they would, but are they going to be like devastated if he leaves? I guess is my question.
No. They're built. They're not light years ahead, but they really are. As long as you have Klay and Steph, then you have a compelling story. You're a top 3 franchise in the West for the foreseeable future.
But you have this new awesome building. You have one of the best 20 guys of all time now in Steph. You have one of the best backcourts ever. You have a really smart organization. And do you look at this and you just go, we're not even happy this year. It's year 3. What are we going to be like in year 6 with this nucleus? Like we can barely make it to the finish line of year 3. Maybe this is a good chance. KD leaves. Thanks for the titles. Draymond might be leaving in a year. We'll see. But maybe this is a chance to kind of reset, reinvent.
Sure. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
They'll still be the team of the decade.
Boogie can't come back there unless it's just for 120% of what he makes, which he makes like $5 million this year. So he's leaving.
100%.
And then you look at the other
he
free
might
agents.
Be a Los Angeles Laker.
Well, they could have had him last year. He was sitting there.
They should have.
I think
who's in charge of that team?
You really have to look at that, where basically every move they made. My question is, who's the team of the next 5 years in the West? Who's your money on? Is it still Golden
It's
State?
going to be, to me, it's going to be still. I don't,
because there is a world where Durant's. I think he's like 90 to 95%. He's on the Knicks next year.
I need to know how Steph Curry's legs are. That's the only thing
He's 31 next year.
Yeah. So 5 years.
So who's the team of the next 5 years in the West? It's funny, like
I'm not going to say Denver, but
we were in this position midway through the decade, right? 2013, 14 range when the Spurs won their title in 14. And we knew that was kind of probably the end of that run. Duncan was playing on one leg, still doing it amazingly, but Kawhi was going to be their next guy. They're going to bring Aldridge in in the 15-16 season. But it still felt like there was room for a new team, and it turned out it was Golden State. But, you know, when Sal and I bet on them to win the title in 2015, they were 30-1 odds. Like, people didn't see that coming. So who's the we didn't see that coming team? And maybe we're a year away from knowing.
Well, it could be the Clippers with Kawhi.
Seems like he's coming.
There's still some pieces the Clippers need to assemble, though. But if I look at a organization that will flip into an aggressive mode right away, the Clippers with Ballmer certainly fit that bill. And and LA as a destination, that doesn't have the LeBron stink on it.
I have another candidate.
Okay,
you're gonna laugh. I don't think Sacramento's that far away.
I'm not laughing.
I think watching Bagley month by month, I actually think he might have a chance to be a special player. It's so funny because I still think they made a massive mistake not taking Luka. Luka's a generational superstar.
Yeah, that's true.
Bagley is fucking good.
He's really good.
And I talked about this in the trade value last month. Like, wow, Bagley's really good. But I'm actually higher on him than I was last month when I had the jerk circle
with good
for him.
reason, because he's shown the capacity to sustain it. His performances game by game.
It's like week by week he's better. But
yes.
So the Warriors, they played a few days ago. He was a problem for them. Like a real, like, genuine problem. Like, we can't keep this guy away from the rim kind of problem. And then you throw in the Buddy Fox backcourt. And then you look at the rest of the team where they have Barnes, who they have this year, next year. They have Bogey. The closet league past Kings fans call him Bogey.
Okay.
A couple other guys, but that's a team because they have Fox on a rookie contract. They have Hield. They don't have to pay yet. That's a team that could do some maneuvering, and maybe get one more guy.
Yeah, I'm not laughing. You know who they remind me of? They remind me of the Golden State Warriors
in like 2013,
that Mark Jackson team.
Yeah, or even the first year when they I think they beat Denver and then they got smoked by the Spurs. I was on TV.
When they beat Dallas, when they beat Dirk. Dirk's MVP year. I
think the other team that has to be taken seriously is OKC as a team of the next 4 years, just because of what's happened with Paul George.
But so this is the thing with OKC, and we're going to have an opportunity to do a little bit of a deeper dive on them this week. I'm very excited about this. I'm not going to say anything more about it because I don't want to tease it further, but we're going to talk about Oklahoma City. You and I will be in each other's company. I think that we are right on the brink of the end of Russell Westbrook.
Wow.
I just think the
end of him as like an impact superstar?
Yes. Yeah. He just can't keep up this pace.
But what if he's your second best guy?
So they have to, two things have to make it, they have to change to make him viable. He needs to go 80% of what he's going right now, and he needs to be able to shoot a 3-point jump shot. He can't be the historically worst 3-point shooter in the modern era and be make a meaningful contribution to the team. If he can't be a super duper dynamic, athletic dervish, then he needs to be able to shoot.
I can't believe you're putting me in the position of being a Russell Westbrook defender. How dare you? I think the impact that he has overall, he is one of the all-time table guys we've ever had. And I remember writing this all decade. I think I wrote in 2012 in the finals, I wrote the 90% column about how everybody has 10% of things you wish you could change about them. And some people's 10% is more glaring than others, was basically the conceit of the column. His 10% has always been the most glaring of just about anybody. But fuck, the dude plays so hard, and it really is infectious. Like, you watch how hard OKC plays, and it's coming from him and Paul George. All those other guys are trying to match what he's doing. He's averaging 11 rebounds a game this year. And I don't feel like they're like trying to get him the MVP. It really just seems like this is their team now.
I think it's opposite. I think he is dragging Paul George into the MVP. Like, yeah, Paul George legitimately deserves the last 6 weeks of MVP buzz. He's earned it. Russell Westbrook delivered that for him. I don't want to be on the record here as sounding like I'm anything other than a Russell Westbrook supporter. All I'm saying about OKC is
just attacked him.
You asked for the next 5 years, and my concern is Russell Westbrook in the next 5 years. That was, you put it to me, and I gave my answer to that.
I think that's
Russell Westbrook deserves half of the MVP award if Paul George wins it, because he has elevated Paul George's play, and Paul George is playing absolutely at an MVP level right now.
I'm shocked by how good he is. And this is like, we first started talking about this 6 weeks ago on this podcast. And then I think like 3 weeks ago, I was saying that I thought he was hands down the number 3 choice for MVP if the season ended. I'm still not ready to put him in the Harden Giannis conversation, because I think Milwaukee has a chance to get to like 64 wins potentially, something like that. But what's shocking to me is Giannis a forward? I mean, I don't even know.
Who cares?
Can we call him a forward? What is he?
Call him. Don't call him late for dinner. Call him whatever you want.
I feel like he's
call him a chicken sandwich. I don't care what you call him. He's delicious. Everything about him is fantastic. Did you see him at the top of the key yesterday with a nice stroke? He's been practicing that.
His hands are so fucking big. It's like, it looks like he's trying to throw a golf ball into like the mailbox or something.
Terrific. I absolutely love it.
I think Paul George is the best traditional forward this season. I think he's past Durant, and I think he's past Kawhi. In the playoffs, I still want KD over Paul George, just because I have the history of his resume.
Sure, yeah, that's a good resume.
But I watched that Utah game Friday night. I really felt like Paul George was going to win the game for them in regulation and OT. He's gone to some level for the fans watching, where you're like, oh, this guy knows he's one of the best players in the league now. So
it's the potential we always thought he had. Then we had to go on hiatus for 2 years because he broke his leg.
You thought he was going to be this good though? I got to say, I never ever thought he was going to be this good.
I don't know. The problem is you can't early in his career think about what his ceiling might look like, because you don't know what kind of other great players he might be playing with. He wasn't playing with, he never had a teammate like Russell Westbrook early in his career.
Not Darren Collison.
I want to go on record with something though in this MVP conversation.
Yeah.
And I just want to demonstrate the consistency of my logic. I am going to be very upset if James Harden wins the MVP this year.
Okay.
I want to be out there for the same reason that I excoriated the NBA voting community and declare them hoops perverts for their support of Russell Westbrook. The same thing now applies, as far as I'm personally concerned, with Harden. He did a terrific job of dragging his franchise back into the playoff picture. He single-handedly did the only thing that team had available to them in terms of making them competitive this season. And I absolutely honor and respect what they did and what he personally did. But him getting 10 points inside of 75 seconds so he could keep that 30-point streak going 3 weeks ago.
He did that twice.
Yeah. How about that? That's perverted as far as I'm concerned.
That was Westbrook chasing rebounds with like 50 seconds left.
I'm not down with chasing the numbers. That's perverted behavior.
I think you're with me on this. The only time we support it is if somebody has a chance to score like 70 points.
That's a whole
or
different
75.
thing.
It's like you're having the game of your life and stay in the game, try to get all your points. You may never be in this spot again. When you're trying to maneuver history with these stupid streaks, the other thing is these streaks that nobody knew was a streak.
Right.
Or it's like, he has chance to only Will Chamberlain. And it's like, I didn't know this was anything until you just told me. I'm not sure this is a streak.
That's because we're in this era where, there's a whole bunch of factors that contribute to higher scoring, the pace, the efficiency of the game on the offensive side of the ball, the way the teams have gotten smarter. These games are like, how much money would we have won betting the over in every game this season? I'd be interested. We got to call up Action Network. Get Millman on this. If you bet the over on every single NBA game this season, how much would you be up? You would be up, I assure you.
Now that dude John Ewing from the Action Network, he's gonna write a piece about this. That's our dude. He listens to our pod. We challenge him, and then he writes the piece.
I want to know the over is up by some meaningful number this season. I guarantee it.
So Harden has a chance. Let's assume he's going to be the second choice. I think Giannis is going to win. Harden will be second.
Okay.
That will give Harden a first for MVP and 3 second-place finishes. So that means in 4 different seasons, he's been one of the top 2 guys. That's pretty good.
That's awesome. It's better than pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, so like Kevin Garnett, he had a first place, 2 second place, and a third place. David Robinson, first place, 2 second places, 2 third places. Shaq, a first place, 2 second places, and 3 third places.
Well, Shaq got cheated also.
Yeah, Shaq was always treated differently. Yeah. And then Durant had a first and 4 second places. So Harden's moving up the list. Like if I was doing the pyramid again, he's in the conversation now for top 4 or 5 guards of all time.
We really, really, really
I know
need
the
him.
playoff resume. I know.
We really need him to have one standout, stellar, he's the guy, and he was the difference maker in this series. We need that out of him one time.
This is out of all the years, this is the year.
I agree with you.
The Warriors are just
I agree with you.
They're begging anybody to steal this title from them.
Let's look at the Rockets' odds to win the Western Conference.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
I'm kind of interested at this stage.
I'm going to look at that right now.
That performance against Golden State Saturday night caught my attention, Bill Simmons. Kenneth Faried has found himself.
He would have been on our team if we were Coach GMs.
Oh.
I would have had him like 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
Him, Montrezl Harrell, all these days. There's a place for these dudes in the league. If you have the right kind of team with 3-point shooters, like this type of guy is going to at least be somewhat effective.
Well, and it's making us, kind of forget the misstep that Houston started off on this season with. They really missed a reason. They really missed Mbah a Moute. They lost an identity, but boy, oh boy, this Chris Paul is back. Chris Paul looked good, by the way, Saturday night. I thought.
I don't trust it.
You don't think he's just got to stay healthy.
So he's got to basically stay like this now for 4 months.
No, you know what? No, not necessarily. They know with him.
So get one more dumb injury out of the way, like in the next 6 weeks,
or just rest. Let's rest him. Let's be deliberate with him.
I will say this, and then we're going to take a quick break. The complete, abject, unadulterated lack of fear from these teams that are playing the Warriors now really jumps out to me week after week. That anybody who's playing them really thinks they're going to beat them. They're not afraid. They don't care about your lineup of death. They're not intimidated by Durant and Curry and Clay. And they're used to playing that style now because 90% of the league plays that way, and they see it night after night after night. It's not like different or special anymore. It's not like, like the 99 Rams when they were doing what they were doing that year, and everybody's like, what the fuck is this? And it's people they just rolled through the regular season. People just hadn't seen it in that form, and then people eventually got used to it, and they figured out how to play them. And with the Warriors, it's a really bad sign for them. Because I will say this, in the Bulls three-peat, even when the Bulls were tired and Pippen missed the first 2.5 months of that third season of the second three-peat, they still had the MJ fear factor. And it was still like, he was still your dad who might come down with the belt and beat the shit out of you if you made him mad. The Warriors aren't like that.
They've never been like that. They
weren't, but from a talent wise, they were so overwhelming that's what it
would be a barrage. It would be a belt barrage.
Right. But it's just not the same.
I agree with you.
I think the Shaq Kobe Lakers when you think about like 0-1, what they did in the playoffs, there was a real fear factor by the end of that. And the only team that really kind of kicked them in the mouth was that Kings team in 0-2. They were like, fuck you guys. We're as good as you. And the Lakers were like, whoa. It was like the old Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until they get hit. This Warriors team, nobody's afraid of them.
Houston's definitely not. Oklahoma City is definitely not. And I think Denver might be a bad matchup for them.
Oklahoma City is actually so not afraid of them that it actually might be a disadvantage for them.
They're going to be cocky.
Yeah, I really think they're going to go into that series being like, we are tougher than these dudes. We're bigger. We've had a lot of success over the years. We match up really well with them, and we're going to beat these guys. And they actually might be too confident.
Are we at the 60-game mark now?
We're getting
Let's just start the playoffs next week. What's the point of jerking off? LeBron's going to miss the playoffs. Let's just go ahead and call it now.
We're going to talk about the Lakers in a second. Let's take a break. We're going to take a break to talk about Roman. Erectile dysfunction is more common than you think. 52% of men will experience erectile dysfunction at some point in their life. Even worse, about 70% of those guys don't talk to a doctor. Well, it's time to take care of it with Roman erectile dysfunction. It's like a check engine light for your body. Often the first sign of something more serious going on. Roman, it's a one-stop shop. Treat ED from the comfort and privacy of your own home. Handle everything online, diagnosis, prescriptions, shipping. Get started. Super easy. Go to GetRoman.com/Bill. Complete a brief online visit. Once your doctor ensures that treatment will be safe and effective for you, they can prescribe FDA-approved medication to be delivered in discreet packaging to your door with free 2-day shipping. So talk to a doctor. ED can be tough to tackle, but it's important to get checked out. Roman makes it easy to take care of it. Today, Roman is giving the BS podcast listeners a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Just go to GetRoman.com/Bill. So this caught my eye.
Talk to me.
Lakers' next head coach odds are out.
Disrespectful.
Tough times for Luke Walton.
Vegas, so disrespectful.
Oof. Tyronn Lue is your favorite at 3-1.
How can that be?
Luke Walton is plus 350 to come back.
This is the first game of the 2019-20 season.
Who
will the Lakers coach be? Is that the
who will be the Lakers head coach for game 1 of next season?
Okay.
Mark Jackson 4-1. I don't think he works again. J Kidd 4-1. Brian Shaw 10-1. I know you like that pick. Jay Wright 15-1. Juwan Howard 15-1. Then it just gets stupid. Some of the odds. Doc Rivers is 25-1. You like Brian Shaw? Make the case.
I like Brian Shaw because Jalen Rose has been talking about Brian Shaw since LeBron joined the Lakers. He's made the point multiple times that when LeBron comes off the court, who he goes to speak with on the coaching staff is Brian Shaw.
Oh, that's the old Ty Lue. That's what he used to do with Ty Lue. He's batting his eyelashes at the bar at Brian Shaw.
Your buddy Jalen made that same point, and Jalen tends to know things. He gets these kinds of things right. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, look, when they miss the playoffs, Luke Walton is not going to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers going into next season. He will lose his job as a result of that. Through no fault of his own, honestly.
I'm not the first person to make this point. I'm not going to be the last. Nobody ever blames the front office. Rob Pelinka should lose his job. Can you do worse than this? Could you?
Well, the answer is yes.
You traded D'Angelo Russell to get rid of Mozgov's contract to create cap space to just sign a bunch of jackoffs.
Well, how about this? They could have had Boogie Cousins.
They could have Brook Lopez.
They could have had Brook Lopez.
They could have had lots of people. They were supposed to have Paul George and LeBron, and they whiffed on Paul George. They whether it got blocked or whatever. It's just funny that they'll change the coach, and Rob Pelinka will probably get 5 years. I'm going to read you this quote. So let me take you back to 2013, House.
Okay, that's
finals.
a long time ago.
Yeah, finals. Before Game 4 of the finals, Heat Spurs. The Nets hired Jason Kidd to be their new head coach. Here's what LeBron James had to say about it. I think it's amazing, honestly. J Kidd is unbelievable. One of the best teammates I ever played with. On the 2008 Olympic team, he was one of the best friends I would have on and off the floor. He's a student of the game. His basketball IQ is crazy, and I think it's going to make an easy transition for him to be a coach. It's a great thing for him. And then he said, you play the game and you're smart, I think it made transition much easier. Blah, blah, blah. Just said a bunch of nice things about Jason Kidd. So apparently they were very tight on the OA team. I did some research and there's some buzz. Last week I told people there was some buzz about James Dolan, which I stand by.
On the ESPN ticker.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on my couch Tuesday night. Bill Simmons podcast. I wasn't on that one. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
That was great.
MSG denied it the next morning, and then people are like, well, they denied it. It's like, of course they fucking denied it. They're going to deny it, so they're selling it. All I said was that he was courting offers and that in rich guy circles, people are putting together bids for the team. And that's a fucking fact. I stand by it. That is happening.
Put that
I don't know
on
what
the
to tell
ticker.
you. I don't make shit up on the podcast.
Take that for data.
The feelers are out. He's made it clear that if somebody hits his price, he would really consider selling the Knicks.
What was the price? 2.5?
No.
More?
I mean, he wants 5. The thing is,
you can't.
He did this ESPN magazine piece where he threw the 5 out. That was like somebody saying
with the building,
some girl in college that you were in love with who's like, yeah, I mean, I might break up with my boyfriend. We'll see. Like just kind of throwing it out there.
I dated a girl like that.
Well, let's
Didn't
not talk about her. I think 4 would do it though.
4.
But anyway.
Well, not with the building though, right?
In rich guy circles, people are putting together bids. It's happening.
Sure. Why
they
not?
think he wants to sell the team. So that's what I reported. I didn't say he was going to sell the team. I never used the words James Dolan is selling the Knicks. Just said he's courting offers for it. He's courting the idea of it. He's basically putting a big come knock my socks off. And people are out there in rich guy circles and they're sniffing around and they're trying to put together like big ass bids for him. So there you go. I stand by what I said.
I'm excited for it.
F you, MSG.
I'm excited for it. Jay Kidd. Speaking of,
so Jay Kidd is the guy.
Yeah, you're hearing things. There are rumors out there.
Nah, there's rumor. I don't feel as good about that, but there's definitely been a pretty persistent Jay Kidd rumor out there.
What is the best case for Jay Kidd as a head coach?
Well,
What's the case?
I thought it was absurd because it really seemed like he ran his course with Milwaukee. But
is that's your professional opinion?
But when the Jay Kidd gossip started, that's what led me to research. I was like, are these guys friends? And that's when I found they had all this history together. I don't know what they do, but I will tell you this. From day one, it seems like they've never, Luke Walton was hired before the Magic Plinka combo.
Sure.
So that's never good. When you're in charge, you want to have your dude.
Your dude. That's fine.
You want to have your people in place. I'm not ready to have the what's the best finals bet conversation because I want to watch a couple more weeks of games. I think the Celtics are a cross off though.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like that. You didn't like that Bulls lost last night?
I think the chemistry is kind of insurmountable at this point.
Well,
like that Kyrie was 3 interviews ago he had kind of killed it.
Who told him he was in charge, by the way?
Stop talking.
What happened?
Stop talking.
What happened? This is the curious thing about the empowerment of the players and, them with choosing their direction. On the one hand, from like a basic, I support the idea of, guys having a say in what they do for a living, where they go work and stuff.
We all do.
That proposition and the sports leagues have been historically grossly unfair in that respect forever. So, in that way, I there's an interesting element to it. But Kyrie walked away from LeBron James, walked away from another chance to go to the finals, said, I want to go to Boston, doubled down, said, I'm going to sign with Boston. And in the space of 6 months
it's been like 4.
Okay. It's
actually been like 3.5.
The self-appointed leader, the self-appointed spokesman for the team. Hey, Kyrie, there's a guy on the team who legitimately should and could be the leader of that team.
Al Horford?
Yes, of course.
Who's actually an awesome teammate. Yeah.
Preceded your arrival there and went through just a normal kind of free agency process, didn't force his way out of a situation, and, took the team pretty damn far.
I wasn't concerned until the 2 games before the All-Star break when he didn't play and they played like if they didn't win the game, they were all going to be blown up in the locker room or something. Like the urgency that they had, this FU urgency in those two games really was alarming.
Well, the Sixers game was especially impressive.
This is one of the weirdest situations I've been in as a fan. They've had like 9 or 10 like truly terrible losses this year, like fourth quarter collapses, or like the Bulls lost this weekend. The Bulls are like intentionally trying to lose. They're trying to tank, and it's just weird. So that situation is strange, and Milwaukee, like what Mirotić gave them in the game against Celtics on Thursday night. There's a couple stretches during the game when he came in, and it just, when you have just one more guy in the rotation who's been there, it's not even about like whether he plays crunch time or not, but to be able to get 20 minutes out of somebody who's just good, who's been in situations, who's made big shots. I just like their team.
What was so impressive?
And Brogdon has been really, really, really impressive. I got to say he's better than I thought he was ever going to be.
He's a guy that has been greatly enriched by the situation. I mean, the situation around him got so great all at once, and he's been up to the task. The thing that I was so impressed by with Milwaukee, having had Mirotić for all of 5 games, maybe, if that many, they're already hunting him. Like, all the other 4 guys, wherever they are on the court, are like, where's Mirotić?
Yeah.
We're going to get the ball to that dude because we're going to get him off, because we know if he hits 2, he might hit 10, and that's our pathway to winning these games going away.
Giannis is Shaq to me.
Oh, let me hear it.
Well, we always talked about who is Giannis, what's his comparison, who's he like? There's really no answer for it. But I think he's like young Shaq. Like, if he's within 6-7 feet of the rim, he's dunking. You're not stopping it. He's dunking with either hand. He's dunking off balance.
I mean, it's our boy Kirk Goldsberry's favorite stat. Favorite stat. Honestly, the
All-Star game made me think of it. Watching him, just like, it just felt like he could add 50 dunks in the game, and just how he's around the rim all the time. But then also, like, in fast breaks, the fear that he causes in transition, which is reminiscent of like young LeBron and just a couple guys we've had over the years. Somebody else, I forget who was saying to me, the Wilt comparisons. Oh, Noah, who works for The Ringer, was talking, because he worked on Dan Clores's basketball love story.
Oh, cool.
So saw a lot of Wilt footage, and was saying how Giannis and Wilt, watching Wilt in the 60s just destroying these 6'8" white guys, but like how he was just around the rim so easily, just constantly, that he was like that too. And I think we just have to start thinking of Giannis like he's like a legitimate center now.
He's fine.
Not a forward.
Yeah, I agree. That's fine. I'll go along with that.
He's overpowering like the great centers that we've had in the history of the league, whether it's like young Shaq, David Robinson,
if he
young
wanted
Hakeem.
If he wanted to, he could have a shooting percentage of like 65 to 73%.
Right.
If that's what he wanted to do. If he wanted to get all of his 28 points a game around the rim, he could shoot 65%.
I think that team is going to be near impossible to beat in the playoffs if they can get home court for the first 3 rounds.
So it's them in Toronto. I mean, this is the sprint to the end.
The other thing with Giannis, and this goes back to the Shaq Wilt thing, he's so hard to officiate because of how he's always around the rim with bodies around him, getting hit and reaching over people, and you're just getting those calls at home. And this is a guy who probably in the playoffs is going to be like 16 free throws a game at home.
I do have a question for you. Speaking of Toronto, are we disrespecting Kawhi this season? Not putting him in the MVP conversation? Is it disrespectful?
I don't feel like it, but I do think the door's open for him to have a run. I think the thing with MVP is you need to have like the 4, 5, 6 week run where you kind of knock people's socks off, and then you jumpstart the conversation about yourself. And he really hasn't had that.
Yeah, but if he carries them to the best record in the NBA, which is very much available.
It is available.
I mean, over these next 22 games,
it's available. I think Milwaukee's going to get it though. Milwaukee's 45-14. The Raptors are 44-17. Milwaukee's 25-5 at home. Milwaukee's also 29 on the road, which I think
that's a good record.
To get 30 wins on the road is special.
Yeah.
But Milwaukee's 117 a game, and they're giving up 107. They're plus 9.7 point differential, which like when you get into the tens, you're on a rarefied list. The Warriors are only at 6.8. So now they have this stretch where they're just going to be playing a bunch of shit teams too. We have 2 more topics. We got to talk about Zion. We got to talk about Kraft. We have to have the real Kraft conversation.
We do?
Yeah, we do.
So happy.
We can't. We have to edit the Sal
what?
conversation.
We're
That's a serious
that?
thing. Hold on. Before we talk about this, let's talk about Simply Safe really quick. Nothing's better than going to a game with the family, but once you're settled in your seats, thoughts of home can get distracting. Did I lock the front door? Did I shut that window? Did I shut that back door? Well, you never have to worry about break-ins if you have Simply Safe Home Security. Everything you need to stop fear at the front door. Your home is protected 24/7. Security experts on standby to send the authorities in an emergency. Plus, Simply Safe will keep working if the power goes out, if the Wi-Fi goes down, if a burglar smashes your keyboard. They're ready for everything. You know your home is secure always. And guess what? I'm not the only guy who thinks it's smart. Simply Safe is the top choice security system for CNET, PC Mag, and more than 3 million people. So try Simply Safe. See how good it feels to fear less. Go to simplysafe.com/BS to learn more. That is Simply Safe with 2 I's. simplysafe.com/BS. The Zion, I thought, did you watch that game that night?
I did. Of course I did. As Carolina Duke with the most interesting college player since Kevin Durant. Yes, I watched that game.
I made the mistake of going on social media, much to my chagrin.
Uh-oh.
And it turned into an immediate referendum on whether college basketball players should get paid.
Oh. Well, they should, but what was the...
Well, it's just like it turns into this whole thing because we have to have the most hysterical reactions at all times. And my reaction was just like, I was just bummed because I was so fired up for the game.
Right.
I knew people that were there.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was devastating.
Sure, of course.
It was like, this was like Zion's birthday party. And Zion showed up and there was 200 people there. And there was like a guy with a Batman costume and a guy with a Superman costume. And there's a big bouncy castle.
The Gimp wasn't there.
And the Gimp was there.
No.
It was like be a huge cake. And people eating fire torches.
Yes.
And right as everybody showed up, like he fell and hit his head and had to be taken to the hospital. And that was the end of the birthday party. That's what it was like.
It really was like that.
And I feel like that got lost a little bit, that it was just so devastating that this was kind of like his basketball bar mitzvah.
It really was.
And it just got cruelly taken away from us.
I know. We were cheated.
I don't know why we didn't gravitate that way. And then the other thing is, and this might just be a younger person thing where it's always about do what's best for you, do what's best for you. I'm old school and I'm an old fart, and so are you. I still feel like there's something that matters about like the relationships you have with teammates and guys that even if they're going to be in your life for 1 year, they're still these are relationships you're going to have 50 years from now.
Yeah, and it's the shared experience.
And people are making the case like Zion should be out of there. He's proven when he's gotten what he needs from Duke. He should go. And it's like, well, that all sounds great, but Zion, from everything we know, is an awesome competitor, loves basketball, and is really, really close with these guys. And now you're asking him to just be like, hey, fuck you guys. I'll see you later. Good luck in the tournament. Like,
well, I don't think anybody's asking him. It would be a perfectly rational decision for him to never play college basketball again. It doesn't.
I agree, but I also agree it would be perfectly rational for him to say, you know what, these are my dudes. Right. I want to win a title with these guys. People can talk about, first of all, there's really no injury he could have in a college game other than like the Baron Davis when his knee exploded.
Oh, Sean Livingston?
Yeah, the Sean Livingston one that like. You'd have to have an injury like that to really
catastrophic injury.
Yeah, I'm saying like the odds are like infinitesimal.
And you imagine even preceding this injury, he has some kind of sizable insurance policy in place. You hope, you have to figure, somewhere over the course of this season, the folks surrounding him, and it seems like he has a pretty great support network, recognized what, his potential, and there's some kind of insurance policy in place to offset any kind of catastrophic thing, God forbid, that might occur. I will tell you, as a kid at that age, and I'm like you, I just would want to play ball with my friends.
Yes.
I just want to ball with my buddies.
That is my point.
Like, college is the very best, most fun. If I could go to college tomorrow and know that I had 3 or 4 more years of it, I would go in a heartbeat. I'd figure out a way for my wife and my kid to be, somewhere on campus. But God bless, I want to go back to college and be with my friends because it's the most fun thing.
This is the funniest thing in this argument to me. He's been playing basketball his whole life. He's been in games constantly. He's had all kinds of teammates. He's probably been playing AAU since he was like 11. So you're like, he shouldn't play anymore. He should just be working on getting ready for the draft. I have a newsflash for you. He's still going to be playing in basketball games. There'll be pickup games,
well,
but
that's
you
different.
can still get hurt in those.
Yes, but the risk proposition is different. Like,
why?
Because it's a
You're
whole
still
different,
playing basketball. You're still landing on feet and ankles.
You know this.
No, I don't.
It's a difference between. Well, look. It's a difference, and I'm going to put it in terms that are relatable for you and I. It's a difference between playing 3-on-3 in the field house and going up and playing our intramural games against the football team. There's a different level of intensity. There's a different level. There's a different skill set. Like, it's a whole different thing.
I know, but
playing North Carolina on national television when Barack Obama is sitting in the second row, mother effer. It's a different thing. Sure, it's a different risk.
It's still basketball, and I still think he's playing. From what we've seen of this dude, I don't think he has gears.
Well,
I think if he's playing intramurals in the freaking Duke Fieldhouse, he is playing full speed. He's not like, oh, here's my half-speed game.
We're playing to 11, and Zion gets 11 in 4 minutes.
Zion's trying. Yeah, Zion's trying in any game he's in.
All right.
So basically what you're telling me, if you're telling me that he shouldn't play basketball for Duke anymore, is that he shouldn't do anything until he gets drafted.
That may be fine.
Just work out. When I don't think the dude's wired that way. I think he loves basketball. I think he's gonna be playing basketball regardless.
Both are right. Both are the right answer. As long as he has insurance in place, now, meaningful insurance, both things can be the right answer.
If he's 90% healthy, don't play. If he's 92% healthy, don't play.
I agree with that.
But if he's healthy a week from now, and the doctor's like, your knee's 100% healthy, and he has 5 different opinions and all that, then fucking play. He's gonna play anyway.
Who cares about the opinions? It's his confidence. If he's practicing with his dudes and he's like, oh, I feel good, then go play. Play if you want to play. If you want to play, play. And by the way, here's the thing that I think is compelling. The nation's attention turns to college basketball in 2 weeks.
Right now.
And everybody will be watching, and it's just a great moment. It's an unparalleled marketing opportunity if you want to think about his brand and everything else. Absolutely.
And the other thing is, and then I'll let this go. I do think there's some worthwhile benefits to playing in big stages and testing yourself in the biggest possible games against defenses. Just like if you're talking about little stepping stones of your career, like Luka Doncic last year.
I'm so glad you use him as the example.
90 games in Europe.
Right. That's right.
Went through the tournament, won a tournament. Now
playing
you could have said
men, by the way.
Yeah, playing against dudes who could like undercut him or whatever. And at some point, he could have been in a situation where it would have been like, oh, I'm going to be a top 5 pick in the NBA. Hey guys, I'm done. I'm going to leave. Like, guess what? The thing we love about that dude is he's competitive. He's like, I want to win a title. So anyway, I just think like, it's really weird that the way people talk about sports now, that it's a totally logical situation that Zion should just like quit on his friends.
Well, if
he says,
I don't treat it as quitting on his friends. He got injured. He got hurt. That's not quitting.
If he comes back, or if he's 100% healthy and he could come back in a week, and they're like, there's no risk, your knee's stable, you can come back in a week, and he's just like, I'm out. I've already proven what I've needed to prove. I don't think he's wired that way, and I don't think he's going to do that.
He may not be, but that would be fine with me if that's what he chose to do. I wouldn't have any problem with that.
But you see the other side.
Of course I do. I just articulated it. I agree with you. I would want to play.
But
he wants to play.
People are making it seem like he'd be fucking crazy to play, and that's what I don't get. It's like everybody's decision. If he wants to play with his friends, then he should do that.
It would only be crazy if he didn't have sufficient insurance in place. He should have a $50 million insurance policy without hesitation or reservation. I hope it's that big.
Now, this would be great. if he said, I'm going to play again, but I'm not wearing those fucking Nikes again. I'm signing with Adidas when I'm in the pros.
Well,
and I'm going to be wearing Adidas in this game, coach.
Again.
So so does this mean I can't play? I'm not wearing those again. They exploded on my foot and I almost broke my knee.
Well, this is the thing, right? Who's more incented? And I'll give shouts. I got to give my boy Jacoby some props on this. Who's more incented to give him a big, gigantic, unprecedented shoe deal than Nike? The price of his shoe deal went from $100 million to $300 million because he needs to show up on whatever team he plays his first professional game with wearing Nike.
And here's the other thing. And then this is my last point, because I'm just really tired of hearing dumb, lazy analysis from people. He's not getting the $300 million Nike contract if he doesn't play this year in college. I think college sports is reprehensible. I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's crazy that somebody could go to school for 7 months and then leave in March and then say that they went to Duke. It's ridiculous. He's going to be there for a semester and a half. He's using them for basketball. He's using the spotlight that they have. And he's parlaying that into an awesome financial windfall that's coming to him when he signs probably the biggest shoe contract anyone's ever signed coming out of college. None of this happens if he doesn't go to college. So when people do this, oh my God, what do these guys get? They don't even get paid. It's like, he's actually going to get like a $300 million contract out of this. So you can use the example for 90% of the college dudes, but at least for him, I would say going to Duke was a really smart business decision, and he's getting everything you would ever want out of it, even if he's not getting paid this year.
Yeah.
With that said, I hate college.
I mean, he's a generational talent, so it's tough to derive any.
People are making it seem like he's eating Spam.
What's that mean?
And drinking toilet water because he's so poor, and it's like the dude's going to be fine. Don't worry.
He will.
Don't worry.
Fine.
Zion's going to have a huge house next year.
It doesn't change the underlying exploitive
5 generations
nature.
of his family are going to be set. He's fine.
I will say basketball is different in that respect, where it's not like the grossly unfair football system where that kid from Clemson should be the number 1 draft pick.
Football is a whole other argument.
That's a fucking disaster.
Football,
it's reprehensible.
These dudes
it's fucking immoral.
They don't play in the bowl games. I fully support that.
Oh, I swear to God, I would love for like all 20 of the best guys on a team. It's like, what up the bowl game? What's that for?
Yeah,
what's the point of this?
Take your bowl game and stick it right up your a-hole.
Exactly. But
the basketball, though, these dudes, here's the thing. They're playing constantly 52 weeks a year since they're like age 12. And they're going to keep playing, whether they're playing for Duke or whatever. Now, you could argue, yeah, North Carolina's bigger. Maybe there's a slight chance of injury. But I would say there's more of a chance of injury playing in these dumb, stupid intramural games that he'd probably play in at Duke, where he's going against like the left guard of the football team.
It's ridiculous. But the basketball does have kind of an eight-month window of great television exposure for like 15 programs. So if you're a guy with pro ambition that wants that, it's pretty unparalleled exposure. Like, think about all the skepticism that Luka Doncic faced coming into the league. And the funny meme that the smart basketball folks were using was, well, I never saw him against Missouri in February. I never saw Luka matched up against, this college team.
So stupid.
Prove it to me. Then that was funny.
What he did was more impressive than any of this college stuff.
For sure. But we didn't know. All we knew of his game was what YouTube offered up to us. Like, this is the thing that
I beg to
differentiates.
differ. I watched some NBA TV, Luka.
Well, sure. But what I'm saying, though, is it's not Big Monday. It's not Super Tuesday. Sure. It's not the Saturday night prime time. It's not, the ACC Big Ten matchup. It's not like your tried and true television vehicle where all those opportunities.
Are we sure these college basketball games are that grueling? They're 40 minutes and there's 40 fucking timeouts. They play for 3.5 minutes and
not
they stop.
Not to mention, God,
it's the most broken system I've ever seen in my life.
The fouls are still the worst. The referees are so bad in college basketball. It's just
a million fouls and it stops every 4 minutes.
It's just unwatchable.
Oh my God, I'm having fun. Timeout.
Or foul.
The Luka thing, I thought it was funny when he said, just come to Europe over playing in college.
That was terrific.
By the way, he's right.
How about
you
this?
want to make money right away? Go to fucking Europe. Don't go to Duke.
Some enterprising cable operator is going to put that league on television on American. It's going to be available on a platform that's like more widely known at a reasonable price, and
it should be called the G League.
Well, look,
I mean, this is like it's insane to me that the NBA owners who have made so much money on their values of their teams have not figured out that all they have to do is put $20 million a person into the G League and really make a real official. This is awesome. Let's get kids right out of high school. And now instead of Zion being on Duke, he's on freaking El Paso or whatever, but he's there for a year and he belongs to a team or whatever. I just think that's a smart business decision. Everybody needs content, as we saw by Sal mentioning. Have you seen the AAF?
Seriously,
people want content.
It would be fun to bet on the G League. I would bet on the G League.
Bob Kraft, really quick.
Okay. How much of that cousin Sal conversation are we going to keep?
We're doing it over again.
Oh no!
Yeah, we do it over again.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
There's a couple moments we can keep.
What do you think, Kyle?
Kyle, we can keep.
Just let me slice it up, but we can keep both. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we could keep both. We give folks something to compare
Kyle's
to.
Going to slice it up. Fine. Fine. He's a 78-year-old man who's lost his way.
This is the point you made in the conversation with Sal.
I just want to. The man's lost his way. I've been watching The Sopranos, and I just finished it. I've banged out 86 seasons.
I like this.
I don't feel like this is an Uncle Junior situation.
You do,
but I don't.
do or don't?
I don't.
Oh,
but
why not?
I do think part of The Sopranos is about, especially when you're binge watching it, and it is an incredible binge watch. I highly recommend not only binge watching it, but reading Sepinwall's book as like a little guide as you go. He's got like these little 4-page chapters about each episode. And you watch it, and then it's almost like the Cliff Notes for stuff you either kind of half thought about or fully thought about or whatever. But a lot of The Sopranos is about mortality and like what's the purpose of things. And, you put all your time into doing this for 30 years, and then you look around and you either get whacked or you get thrown in jail or you get cancer or this person turns on you, or in Tony's case, like, you're doing everything for your family, and then you end up with like Fredo as your son, and nothing. You just can't figure out one possible good thing to pull out of this kid's life. And it's like, well, why did I do all this for? And then every person I have around me has been either whacked or has gone crazy or has stabbed him in the back. My point is, it just the Kraft thing in The Sopranos, the mortality of it. I think there was some mutual symbolism in that.
Well, I think you're
hitting your late 70s and you're just like, you're looking at the finish line, and some people just go off the rails. And I think he's gone off the rails a little bit.
You dismissed the Junior comparison, but I think it was too quick.
Well, Junior had like dementia. And all that stuff.
But underneath of that, and early in the development of the show, the tension there is, at what point is it time for the leader to to really be properly retired? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he goes from titular leader, he gets to show up and shake hands and still be the face of the franchise in a way, to be like, okay, you have to now recede. So
look, these are allegations. Who knows? They might get dropped. It might be, who the hell knows? This is why we have a criminal system. But I think what's worrisome about it is that it wasn't shocking, because
it was eyebrow raising.
It was eyebrow raising, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't believe this, because this is somebody that had been acting kind of erratically, and it's just a bummer. This is somebody that has been in the life of Patriots fans for
it's a bummer for you.
25 years, and saved the team and has been a good owner for the most part. And it's just weird to have this person who's just
like 793 terrific jokes the last 3 days. It's been pretty great for me.
And I see it. I could see it all of it. But yeah, I hope regardless, I hope that this is kind of a come to Jesus moment for everybody involved. where like maybe we need to rethink some things.
Sure. Great life he's led. 78 years. Terrific.
What do you want to happen, Kyle?
I want it to go away.
There you go.
I want to keep going.
All right, House. You have House of Carbs.
Yeah, this week we're going to do, we have food news. We have Danny Chow coming on talking about the best thing he ate this week. I'm going to have a couple unbelievable meals. I'm here in Los Angeles, California with you, so I'll have a couple things to talk about. Special guest host for that episode, our own beloved Adam Rappaport, is also here in Los Angeles. He's going to sit in with us and be our special guest host for the food news and the best thing I ate this week. Next week, another edition of Fairway Rolling. We're going to be talking about Bay Hill in the run-up to the Players Championship down in Jacksonville, which
I feel like there's not a lot of momentum yet for the golf season, but it's about to happen.
It's really gotten rolling. I mean, it really starts with the event here in Los Angeles at Riviera. Yeah. That's really the official where all the guys come out, and then they had this event in Mexico that just concluded where it's 75 of the best players in the world. So, and the leaderboard's spectacular. Like all these great European players, it's all your old friends all coming together. It starts to feel like there could be a major just around the corner. And by golly, we're 6 weeks out from the Masters, a tradition unlike any other.
It's calling me again, House.
Yeah.
It's calling Kyle.
Waffle House is calling.
The navigation system in Kyle's car is calling him.
No. Kyle.
Hello, Kyle.
Kyle.
All right, House. Thanks for coming on. I'm glad we caught up on a whole bunch of things.
We covered a lot of territory.
We have Rosillo and I are coming. We have a pod on Tuesday. The Rewatchables is going to be Wednesday this week. We're doing Reality Bites, and then one more podcast for me on Thursday. And then I'm going to be in Boston end of the week interviewing Adam Silver at the Sloan Conference.
Boom.
And we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff, actually. Player empowerment. Why don't they have a supersized G League? I'm going to be asking him a lot of these questions. And we'll see how he answers them. He'll filibuster me a little bit. I know his game.
He's a professional.
I've interviewed him before.
Just get the schedule tightened up a little a little bit. This season's too long. Can't be mid-October to July.
Well, the ratings are down, which I'm not sure what that means because it feels like the interest is as high as it's ever been in the league, but the ratings are down. The ratings are down like 10%.
It'll be good playoffs.
So maybe they do need less games. All right. Thanks, House. All right. Thanks to ZipRecruiter. Don't forget to go to ZipRecruiter.com/BS. Thanks to SeatGeek. Don't forget about promo code BS for $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Thanks to Roman. Don't forget about GetRoman.com/Bill for a free visit and free 2-day shipping to get started. Thanks to SimpliSafe. Don't forget about SimpliSafe.com/BS. Actually, they have everything you need to stop fear at the front door, including 24/7 protection with security experts on standby to send the authorities in an emergency. SimpliSafe keeps working if the power goes out, if the Wi-Fi goes down, if a burglar smashes your keypad. So you know your home is secure always. Try SimpliSafe. See how good it feels to fear less. Go to SimpliSafe.com/BS to learn more. SimpliSafe with 2 I's. SimpliSafe.com/BS. We'll be back with Rosillo in about 36 to 48 hours. Until then.